Today we're going to be exploring a potential solution for the ceiling fan speed control issue here in the garage, or anywhere else in the house for that matter if this turns out to work well. I reached out to EnviroFan directly regarding the question of a quiet transformer speed control, and EnviroFan responded and recommended the Staco 171 speed control, which is this. So we're going to try this. This is more or less a variac, and I believe what that does is it changes the speed of the fans by regulating the voltage rather than whatever the solid state speed controls do. So I'll give a quick sample here of what the fans sound like now, which as far as I'm concerned is totally unusable. That's just ridiculous to me. So if we can eliminate most or all of that hum, I will be content with this. I thought about potentially building a custom capacitor based control, but in terms of practicality, it would work, but it's just not really there, especially if I wanted to do it upstairs somewhere. Like at some point I'd like to have an EnviroFan in the living room for a while, and trying to fit a custom capacitor control inside the wall, it's just nonsense. You know, in here it wouldn't be a big deal because, you know, what the wiring looks like in here, if it's all exposed and whatever, not a big deal. But in the living room, I kind of would prefer it to be a little more polished and professional. So this speed control, it's a large control, but it will fit in like a 4x4 box. I have this one here, for example. This is I believe it's a 1.5, and it just barely doesn't fit. So I think a 2-inch deep box would work just fine, and it's just easy enough to go ahead and put one of those in the wall. So potentially we can do that. If it really works well, potentially it could be installed as a new standard configuration all over the house. And if it works very well for other things, potentially it would be a good solution for connecting certain fans that don't have a good speed range, like the TPI high velocity fans, for example, that run way too fast on low. So we'll see. I don't know what to expect. I've never worked with this control before, but it came recommended by the manufacturer and recommended by other people, highly recommended by other people I've talked to about the issue. So I have high expectations. So right now I'm just stripping a couple pieces of wire that we're going to use to connect it to the fans here, because it won't fit in the box that's on the wall right now. That box is too small. Actually, it is a deep box. I think it would fit in terms of depth, but it will not fit in terms of width. I gotta turn the power off and figure out which plug this wire is on. So we'll have to deal with inferior lighting for a short period of time. So I talked to Kevin about this the other day. He was familiar with these, and this is the wiring diagram he recommended. I don't know if this is a good long-term solution, but at least for the test, I think we should be able to just take these spade terminals that I grabbed out of the trash and stick these on there. Actually, I don't see why that wouldn't be a good long-term solution. That works pretty good. So we need to make 3 connections to this, because we need a high side in, high side out to the fans, and then common. So in this case we'll use the green for the common, which is going to be terminal number 1. I think that works perfectly fine. There was some question about this not working because the terminals are not flat on the ends, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. We'll use so number 3 is the high side out to the fan. We'll use this one for that. And that's a little dodgy because it's short, but it'll work for the test. And then we need the high side in, which is number 2. And we'll do this for number 2. And then so that I can manipulate it while it's on, I'm just going to stick this over it like this. I don't know where this is supposed to be. I don't have a dial for it, so it doesn't really matter. A simple light switch cover, metal one, would accomplish this task just fine, but I don't have one on hand, so we're going to use this just to hold it in place. Seems to be in good condition. The brush has plenty of wear left on it, or life left on it, not wear. Let's see if we can and these in theory should be varnished. I guess we can just kind of set this on the table like this. I think that should be okay. We've got to be very careful not to nick the windings at all, but I think that's okay. So now I'm going to go over here and unplug that's the fan. So I lost the fluorescent lights, but we'll just make do with this one. Actually, do I have the others? No, I don't have the others either. That's fine. We'll just make do with this one for now. So we're going to take this other control off of here. And I guess what I could do is I'll just turn this into a regular switch. And I can probably mount, it's going to get really close call, but maybe I can fudge it over a little bit and then, or maybe I could even turn this into like a triple gang, move it over all the way, turn into a triple gang, and kind of finagle it that way. That actually might work. I'll have to think about that. Anyways, let's get this here. Oh, I didn't bring out. And I went and got the wire cutters, but I didn't bring out a screwdriver. I really hope this works, and I have high expectations that it will, because I highly doubt that the manufacturer would recommend this expensive of a control. The retail price is around $200, although you can find them used for much cheaper than that. I wouldn't expect that the manufacturer would recommend this if it didn't actually work. I recall back in the early 2010s that EnviroFan did sell their own transformer control, and in more recent times it seems to have disappeared from the catalog, but they bothered to sell it. I would imagine it worked. I was told the only reason they don't sell it is because after you mark up $200 to resell it, it's just too expensive, which makes sense. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people would spend $200 on a ceiling fan control. Well, then again, in a commercial environment, sometimes there's money to use for stuff like that. But anyways, we're going to get this hooked up and test this, and I'm very excited to see how this works. Alright, so the ground we're not going to be working with in this particular test, so I will just put that back. I suppose in theory the switch would normally bond through the metal box that it holds onto in the front in a normal use case. Okay, so we're going to take, I wish I had a piece of three wire, but I don't on hand. We're going to take this wire here, and we're going to connect the black to the black on here, which is way too long. And this will be our high side going to the switch. And then we will use this white as the common. At this point, the only thing stopping me from installing an EnviroFan in the living room is this control situation. So if this works, then we're clear to do that install. I was also concerned about doing it prior to having replaced the box because I didn't know what kind of condition the box was in. Had a hunch it was in bad condition. I was totally correct, but now that I've replaced it, I would have full confidence hanging an EnviroFan on that box. Okay, so now we'll take the other side of this, and terminal number 2, which is this, is the high side. And then the white goes to this, which we're going to use as the common in this particular test. Okay, and now we need one more piece of wire, which I suppose if we wanted to get really dangerous, we could use, actually what we could have done just for the test is use the grounding wire for the common, but well, I got another wire here, it's fine. This black will go to supply power to the fans. Hopefully this will be the last time I ever have to go inside this box, because this wire is very short. I didn't leave enough slack when I set this up, and I'm getting very nervous that it's going to break, because I've put on and off the nuts probably 4 or 5 times in this box, and I can see the wire is getting a little bit worn down. Okay, so that should be correct. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and plug it in and unplug it real quick. I'm going to turn the lights off so we don't put a whole bunch of cycles on the bulbs. I'll just flick it in and out of the outlet real quick to make sure that nothing crazy happens. Alright, nothing crazy happened. That was not an electrical failure, that was user error of unplugging the light, and since it's not going to restrike, I now cannot see anything in here. Let's see if I can get over to where the control for the garage opener light is. Okay, that's probably not doing much for you over there in the video, but at least I can see what's going on now. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Put it up like halfway. I just want to see the fan start before I go back over to it and let it operate. Okay, the fan started. Oh, it's silent. This works. Look at that. The fans are running. Oh, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. Wow. It's totally silent. Oh no, that's the lights. Wow. This is the solution. This is so exciting to me, because for years I've been having a problem with the usability of these fans, or any fan that's not that doesn't have onboard controls, because sometimes those 3 and 4 speed capacitor based controls don't give a good range, especially with older cast motors, or in this case newer cast motors, although these technically are not cast. I guess these are whatever they are, stamped. So I think it's good practice to set this up and let it run for hours at a time on different settings and make sure that nothing overheats. These 2 fans together, I believe they're rated for like 0.5 something amps. The control is rated for 1.7, I believe, so it should be well within what the control is able to handle. And since, again, the manufacturer did recommend it, the manufacturer of the fans recommended it, so I'm pretty sure that it would work. I think it would be logical to give it a test period before I go ahead and strap all this into the box permanently. But I have complete confidence in this at this point, and this is just absolutely fantastic. Let's see how slow we can get it to run. We're toward the end of the control here. I wonder how I wonder how it's going to work once we get really towards the end in terms of stalling out. I find that with using a capacitor control, if you get a capacitor value that's right on the end, it's a little more reliable in terms of not stalling out than a standard solid state control is. I wonder if this one we're going to find the same. I'm going to turn it all the way down. Oh, this is so exciting to me. And I'm going to stall this out, and I want to see at what point will it start. Actually, since I've stalled it out, let me check to see what the... Do I have a non-full bucket? Oh, should I stand on this one? I want to see if I can look at the information, the power information. I can't see it. Not quite tall enough. But I'm pretty sure that it's around 0.5 amps. 0.56 is coming to mind specifically. So this, I would say, is not a state that we want to leave the control in. This is probably like, 1 or 2 volts, something very, very slow, very, very low, and the motor's just sitting there stalled out. It's so little voltage, it probably wouldn't be an issue, but just don't want to run it this way. So we'll get a switch that turns it off. I also want to plug it into the kilowatt meter and see what the power information is. Alright, so I'm going to slowly turn it up now. It's starting to move. Well, I would say that makes a pretty reliable low speed. I mean, that's just crawling. I'm going to put these other lights back on, because now we'll just ignore the hum of the lights, because we know that the fans are totally silent. I don't know, has anybody in the fan community actually tested one of these controls before? I don't think so. This is ridiculous. Well, I think it's safe to say that this control allows for an extremely slow low. I mean, this is literally not even 1 RPM, I don't think. And it started like this from a complete stop. So, now, if I turn on something that draws a lot of power and the voltage in the house drops, it might stall. But this is ridiculous. Let me turn it up a little bit. See, I like around like 30 RPM on low. Give it a little more power. The one behind me, NU, is running kind of where I like it to be. That's right around the low speed that I like. And I don't know if this one has gotten up to speed and is maintaining the speed because it was running faster, or if it's still slowing down. It looks like it's a pretty steady speed, but this is the speed that I like. Actually, it's less than 30 RPM. That might be more like 20 RPM. believe this is working so well. This is great. This is absolutely fantastic. I wish I knew about this control years ago. Again, I'll have to do some testing first, make sure this works with all fans, or just take a sample of a few fans. But I don't see why, when I rewire all the bedrooms, that I wouldn't just use this as a normal setup in the house for the ceiling fans. I will even go as far as redoing that one in the kitchen, because I actually want to expand it to at least to a 4-gang box and put rotary controls instead. I don't like those sliding ones after using them every day. But I might as well fit these in there if this works this well. And why not have variable speed? That's fantastic. Wow, this works so well. There is zero noise from the fans whatsoever. I feel like it's got to be better for the motor too, because all that noise that you get from the variable speed, it's got to be creating vibration, and over time vibration will eventually wear down the varnish on the windings. So you really don't want vibration. You want to keep vibration to as much of a minimum as possible. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. This is great. Yeah, that's like the perfect low speed right there. Just where I want it. And it's silent. Wow. Let's bump it up a little bit more. Oh, this is just fantastic. I can't believe this works so well. And what a simple solution. I don't even care that the apparatus costs $200. It just plain works. And I've been told that these controls are very good quality too. They are made in the USA, allegedly. The price would certainly support that. This is not just a solution to this problem here in the garage. This is literally a whole house solution for every ceiling fan install upstairs. Bump it up a little bit more. Wow, this is absolutely incredible. I'm really curious to try this with portable fans too, because if this will slow down some portable fans I really like but have too fast of a speed, I'm going to be building multiple like boxes with outlets on to plug in and use this with different portable fans. This offers so much potential. fans are silent. Finally. I'll put up a little bit more. All you hear is the wind noise. There is no annoying motor hum. Granted, the fans have only been on a few minutes, but the motors are still ambient temperature. If there was really a problem, I think we would have seen it by now. There should be at least a little bit of heat. The control is ambient temperature. The motors are ambient temperature. I really don't think that there's going to be any type of problem. We're at about 60%, 70% on the control, and I mean, you can literally get this is literally an infinite speed. The adjustments are very responsive, but it's not like sometimes with the other controls you turn it a hair and it jumps. This has been super even. I can get any number of RPMs I want out of this control. A little more power. About 75% on the control. There's still not a touch of hum from the fans. None at all. This is so great. I am so happy about this. It's about 80% on the control. On the control. It'd be very interesting to put a voltmeter on the output and see what the output is doing. Go to full on the control. That's full power on the control. Well, I am ecstatic about this. Absolutely ecstatic. So we finally have a solution. And I'll have to figure out how we're going to implement it. It's still going to be a bit of a challenge because it's a very non-standard wiring device that we're going to try to cram into standard wiring devices. It can be done, it's just going to be a bit of a challenge. So, stay tuned for more on this. There will be much more. The first setup on this will definitely be here in the garage. I think that the best route is probably to kick the tripod, because that's just standard procedure here. Probably to take this box, move it over as far as I can, which I could push it over another ½ an inch or so, and then I need to add another two gangs on there, so we have one on-off switch, and then we'd have the dual gang where the control will sit. And I think that should work. So, the difficult part of this has been solved. We now have identified the apparatus that we need. The apparatus works very well. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how to physically put it into the setup, which I don't think will be all that difficult.